Hello everyone, my name is Jack Michael, Realtor Extraordinaire. I am a licensed real estate agent and broker in the state of Indiana, and today I'm going to be going over a quick little video for you first-time homebuyers out there. So let's talk about that. Well, I'm 23 and I work with a lot of other people who are my age as well. People who are buying starter homes, the first homes they've ever purchased, all those cool things and really stressful situations. A lot of these individuals have pretty much the exact same questions for me. Asking about loans, asking about closing costs, asking about the process itself. And I thought it wouldn't be a bad idea to hop on YouTube and give you guys a basic summary of the main questions that I hear every single day and the answers to them, at least the ones that I can give to the best of my abilities. So, let's get into it. So to start these questions out, the first thing I want to do is answer some questions that I can. These are questions that you have to ask yourself and get some assistance from people like financial advisors and just lenders in general. So the first question is, am I ready to buy a home? Well, a home is a lot different than what you're probably used to. If you're anything like me, you've probably rented every property that you've ever lived in. And that comes with some ease, right? Some helpful stuff. Your landlord is going to be in charge of repairs. They're going to be sending people out. They're going to make sure that the home stays in good living conditions. When you own your own property, you're in charge of all that. You are in charge of talking to the HOA and making sure that everything on your house, it works with the neighborhood and the rules that apply there. You're in charge of knowing the covenants on your neighborhood and what you can even do and what you can't do. You're in charge, obviously, of getting a loan, talking to a real estate agent, going through all of that process. It's not just as easy as going on Zillow and looking for houses in your area that are within your budget. There's a lot more that goes into buying a home. Does that mean it's not worth it? Absolutely not. I personally believe, and I am a real estate agent, so maybe I'm biased, but I believe that it is more than worth it. So that is one question that you kind of have to ask yourself. Am I responsible enough to own my own home? Now, can you afford a home? That's something that you have to answer yourself, and I would recommend talking to a financial advisor. Most of them recommend 40% of your monthly income is equal to your monthly mortgage. So if you're making $10,000 a month, you don't want to be paying more than $4,000 on your mortgage. But obviously a lot of people have extra expenses that come into their lives that, not everyone's going to know about. So that's one thing that you really need to talk to a financial advisor about, because it's not necessarily something that's always an easy question to answer. Most likely though, if you've been working for a few years and your income is relatively steady, the answer is yes. Now, is my credit good enough to buy a home? First thing I need to say on this is get off of those credit websites. Every time you run your credit on one of those websites, it knocks your credit score down a few points. That's not good. Call a lender. They will be able to run your credit for you, give you all the information that you need, and that will not harm you in any way. Talk to a lender. Don't go on those stupid damn credit websites. But I do want to say, the higher your credit is, the better you're going to do with a loan. Lower credit scores mean higher down payments, higher interest rates, a couple other things. So maybe that just means working for a few months on boosting that credit score. Usually it is nothing that can't be solved within a little bit. Now let's talk about some questions that I can't give you correct answers to, but I can at least give you some advice and tell you what I've seen with other clients in the past. And that starts off with, how much am I going to owe up front? What's my down payment going to look like? Well, that depends on your loan, right? Now, I have seen people put 1% down more often than not. 1%, so if you're paying $100,000 on a house, you owe $1,000 up front just to put down on the home. You pay the rest off in your monthly mortgage payments over time. But this can greatly depend on the loan that you're going for, the house that you're buying, how you're financing everything, and it really has a lot of variables that you have to consider. So really, please talk to a lender. Lenders will have much more valuable information for you, and they can tell you exactly what your specific situation will look like. Okay, so now what type of loans do I need to look at? Well, the main two that you'll see, especially for first-time homebuyers, is the FHA loan. The FHA loan is going to have a little bit stricter standards when looking at properties. They're going to want to get it appraised. They're going to want to know what exactly is the value of your home before they give you the money to actually purchase it. It's going to have a little bit lower credit rating, credit requirement. So those of you who have had a little bit of a negative impact on your credit score over the last couple of years, this is a great opportunity for you to go with an FHA. They'll also have a slightly higher down payment percentage, so you'll have to pay a little bit more upfront just on top of that house. Now, what's more common is the conventional loan. This is for you if you have a good credit score. They'll have better options for you. You don't have to have your property necessarily assessed. At least the rules aren't nearly as strict. You also will have a slightly lower down payment, so you'll pay less upfront, but your mortgage prices will be a little bit higher over the following months. Now, this once again is something that a lender will be much more informed on and much better at answering than I am. So make sure that you contact a lender and they will give you way better facts, way better information to your specific situation than I could give you. Now moving on to questions within my area of expertise. So don't talk to anyone else, talk to me about these ones. Starting off right off the bat, what does the process look like? Now obviously I've gone over this 15 times so far, but you're gonna have to get a loan. If you're anything like me, you can't finance the entire property by yourself. You need a little bit of financial assistance. So talk to a lender, figure out what your options are, and then move on from there. And then you get on to more of the fun stuff. You find an agent like me, or whoever works best for you. It is important that you like your agent, you get along with your agent, and you work well as a team together. Once you find an agent, you give them the parameters of the home that you're looking for. 4 bedrooms, 2 baths, I need a doghouse in the backyard, I want a pool in the living room and a hot tub in the kitchen. Whatever it is you're looking for, and your agent should find you homes that match that description. Then you get to go out and you get to look at them. See what you like about the house, see what you don't like about the house, weigh the pros and cons of different houses. And finally, once you do find a house that you like, you put an offer down. Now your agent will negotiate the best possible deal for you. I did not say the best possible price, the best possible deal. There's a lot of variables that go into purchasing a home, and sometimes the lowest price doesn't always make the best deal for you. Depending on what the seller wants, depending on what the buyer wants, there are a lot of variables that go into that. Now also, depending on your loan process, there may be some steps from here until the end. So you may have to come in and get an appraisal done, but once again, that just depends on the loan that you are working with. But after you have an offer that is accepted, after you have gotten the house appraised, you will get the house inspected. Basically, they're going to come in, they're going to look at every crevice, every crack, the bones of the house, to make sure that everything is truly in proper and working order, so that you don't move into the house and it falls down on you while you're sleeping at night. And then finally, you have your final walkthrough where you go to the house, you make sure that everything looks the same as it did when you saw it the first time, and that you're getting everything that you thought you were. And then you go to the closing table, you sign some paperwork, and you are on your way out. Congratulations, you have a new home. After talking about the process itself of real estate, I mentioned that sometimes getting the best deal doesn't always mean the lowest price. So what else goes into buying a home? What other costs are there? Well, ignoring costs like time spent looking for a home and money put into the process itself, there are multiple other costs that will be considered. Things like property taxes. In the state of Indiana, these are prorated, which basically means that you're paying a year behind. So the taxes will be paid by those individuals who lived in the home the year prior, right? So you're not going to pay the taxes for while they were living there. They're going to pay it. Now, in the different markets, people can negotiate saying, hey, we've got 15 offers all asking for the same price. But this specific offer said that they would pay our taxes. Now, the market's not really like that right now, but that has happened before, so it kind of depends. Once again, your agent should be able to get you the best deal possible, as that is one of the most important factors of their job. Another thing is homeowners insurance, warranties. Basically making sure that if your house falls down, somebody's gonna come build it and you don't have to pay to rebuild an entire house. There are a lot of different plans for this, and you'll have to look into different insurance plans, different warranties, just to see what applies to you. Utilities, just like most renters, you're gonna have to pay for water, you're gonna have to pay for electric, you're gonna have to pay for gas, you're gonna have to pay someone to come pick up your trash once a week. This is kind of normal stuff, but it's still important to mention. Repairs, like I said at the beginning of the video, you have to do your own repairs. Now, it doesn't necessarily have to be you, but you are responsible for getting them done. So whether that's paying someone to come help you out, or if you're gonna be the one putting up drywall in the middle of the night, fixing that hole you put in the wall. Yard maintenance, pretty easy one. Mow your lawn, make it look pretty. Most HOAs will have specific rules applying to that, just basically making sure that you don't let your yard look like no one's lived there for 15 years. And then finally, closing costs on purchase. And that can be a lot of different things going into that. Basically the final closing costs of the process itself that goes into going into a home. So those are basically a decent summary of the different costs that can go into your final closing, besides just the purchasing of the house itself. The steps you're gonna have to take, what the process looks like, how long it'll take, and what you have to do to get started. Now, if you have any more questions or you think I missed something important, leave it down below in the comments and I will get back to you as soon as I can. You can always follow me on Instagram at JackMichael, JackMichael, or on Facebook under the exact same name. I'm happy to connect with anybody who wants to. I'm always happy to help. This has been Jack Michael, and I hope I see you next time.